order. Please rise.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. The first item we have to conduct this evening is a public hearing. For the record, all of council are present except for Mr. Labenberg. He should be coming in shortly. We have a public hearing on the application of a liquor license number R93000, which is being transferred from the City of Allentown to 187 Main Street. Attorney Dinkelhofer, would you like to talk to us about this?
Sure. This is a license transfer under Section 461 of the Liquor Control Board, Liquor Control Act. I forget the exact name of the statute. But what Section 4-461B3 of 47 pertinent statutes sets forth a procedure where a license is to be transferred, and the procedure involves a public hearing held by the council to receive comments and recommendations from interested individuals who reside within the borough concerning the transfer of the license. The hearing is held within 45 days from the date of the request. The request was September 8, 2014 in this instance. After the hearing, the borough acts either by ordinance or resolution to approve or disapprove the request. I believe we have here a draft resolution that will be acted on then tonight based upon the results of the hearing. The borough then is required to approve the intermunicipal transfer request unless the borough makes a finding and council makes a finding that doing so would adversely affect the welfare, health, peace, and morals of the municipality or of its residents. And should the decision by council be to deny the request, the applicant may appeal to the Court of Common Pleas of Lehigh County. So the purpose of the hearing is to make a determination as to whether the transfer of this license would adversely affect the welfare, health, peace, and morals of the community. And what we will do is we will offer into evidence at this hearing a number of documents that relate to this particular application. We will then have the applicant can make a short presentation, and then we will accept comments from the community and then comments by council as appropriate, and then proceed in due course to act on the resolution. So the letter request for the license transfer is made by an entity known as 187 Rue Principal. It's dated September 8, 2014. The name and address of the applicant is At the Table LLC, 187 Main Street, Emmaus, PA 18049. I think this was the property where we had previously approved an economic development application, if I recall correctly. At this point, however, this is a transfer, and therefore a new hearing is required. Public notice on this particular application was placed in the East Penn Press September 17, 2014, for a public hearing tonight at 7 p.m. At the request of the entity known as At the Table LLC, operating under the name 187 Rue Principal. The application is for license number R-8740. It's being transferred from the City of Allentown and an entity known as JAGS, J-A-G-S, Inc., which is operating as Rojos Bar and Grill, 1401 Front Street, Allentown, Pennsylvania. So that's the background. And if the applicant is present tonight and wishes to get up to make a short presentation, we would be in a position to hear that.
Hi.
Thank you. How are you?
I'm good.
Good.
We are requesting essentially what we were requesting earlier under an economic development license. Part of that process is to be able to show that you couldn't purchase a license on the regular license market. So as time went by, I was required to continue to attempt to buy a license, and I was able to purchase one at an auction. The license is actually number R9300. The license number, I think you had it.
Yeah.
When
It's
you,
correct
at
in
the
the
very,
resolution.
Yeah, it's-
okay,
it's
great,
correct,
okay.
yeah.
Okay.
All right, and it's being transferred from Oliver Shake-Wells.
Oh,
Yeah. I typoed the wrong thing initially, it's my fault.
okay, well then, I would make sure, let's make sure that's correct in the record then, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, the resolution
We have made no changes to what we intend to do. We're still a French restaurant. We just want to be able to serve beer and wine. We have a 6-seat bar planned. We are not going to be open past 11 o'clock. So there's really no change from what we plan to do when you approve the economic development license. The only difference is that this is a full license, and essentially I was required to buy it because I could.
Okay.
Okay.
So just for the purposes of the resolution, and the license number is R8740.
R9300.
Oh,
Just
I'm
correct
sorry.
in the resolution.
Oh, it's correct in the resolution,
What's
I
not
see.
correct in the resolution, though,
It's
is
the
who you're getting it
title where
from.
it's coming from.
Is this
Okay.
Rojas Bar?
It's coming from
Oliver Shake. You
Oliver
had
Shankwell.
J.C. Beck's.
I'm sorry, state that again, please.
J.C. Beck's.
J.C.
Beck's.
B.E.
C.K.S.
Okay. Trading as?
Oliver Shake-Wells.
Okay. And that is still in the city of Allentown,
That
correct?
is correct.
Okay. All right, so we have R9300
Yep, that's the correct number.
from J.C. Beck's trading as Oliver Shankwells
Yes, it's-
in the city of
I looked
Allentown.
up, they make a big chart, and I looked at the wrong space.
No problem. I got the license number wrong twice tonight so far, so that's okay. All right, so what we're going to do, though, is there anything else that you want to
I don't want anything, but Mr. Barrett has a question.
I was just going to say, is the address the correct address, or is that wrong as well?
That'd be wrong.
That's going to
1401?
be wrong, too.
No, I don't think.
The address is probably wrong because it
I'll
references
find it.
Rojo Bar, but I don't think we need the address.
I
think
do,
we're-
I do for them to adopt the resolution.
Oh, you need the address for the resolution?
Yes.
I can look it up if you don't mind.
Okay.
Okay. It'll take me a second, I can sit down and do it, or you want me to stand here and do it?
Stay there.
Okay. Okay, so I have to search the license number. Kind of embarrassed, I apologize.
No problem.
It's slow.
Just for the record, then,
Yes.
Mr. Labenberg came in at 7:04.
How about 1869 4th Street?
Yep, that's good. Should be south of.
South Fourth. Yeah, I don't think it was Fourth.
South 4th Street,
South 4th.
1869 South 4th.
That's correct, you're faster than me.
South 4th Street, Allentown.
That's correct.
Okay. All right, so what we'll do then is we will mark the letter request, and you're Ms. Cullen?
I am,
Okay, so we'll mark the letter request by Ms. Cullen as Exhibit 1 for the hearing. And then we will mark the public notice packet as Exhibit 2. And is there anything else, Ms. Cullen, that you wish to add? Okay. Then what we'll do is, before we get to council questions, we'll open it up to the community. Is there anyone here in the community or anyone sitting here tonight that has any comment concerning the transfer of this liquor license? The record reflect a negative response to that, and now open up to comments and questions by council members. Yes, sir.
The, your letter states it will replace the economic development license. So you already have the economic development license?
no, I didn't, I was in the process of obtaining that license.
Okay, so you just applied for that, but in the meantime, then a license became available.
That is correct.
So you purchased a license.
That is correct.
And may I ask what you paid for a license?
I paid $165,000.
Thank you.
Anyone else from council? Any other questions by council? Okay, well, we will include the records as the exhibits, and should I assume that we'll hold off on the resolution until the regular business meeting then? Or
Yes.
do we do that
Yes.
now? Okay.
We'll handle it under Gen Ed and then
All
committee
right.
report.
Then we will declare the hearing closed. Thank you.
Is there a motion to adjourn the hearing? Motion by Mr. Brown, second by Mr. Barrett. Discussion? All those in favor? We have 7 ayes. Hearing is closed. And now we will move on to council. And since Mr. Labenberg missed the pledge the first time around, we're going to do it a second time.
You did the pledge for a special hearing? You don't normally do
Yeah,
that.
I normally don't do that, but we did it tonight, so we're going to do it again. So we're going to call the October 6th Emmaus Borough Council meeting to order at 7:10. Please rise for the pledge. You're going to do it twice. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Perfect. Personal appeals, part 1. Anyone with a personal appeal, please step forward, sign in, state your name and address for the record, and you have 5 minutes. Hearing none. Moving to community minute. Any member of council have an item they wish to bring forward for community minute? Mr. Anders?
Yes, I actually have 2 this evening. The first is I was at the Halloween Parade Committee on Thursday evening, and we had Brian Rice and Judy Hatfield from Fire Company Number 1 stop by, and they presented the committee with a check of a donation of $5,600. They've been fundraising since last year's Halloween parade, and they were happy to contribute, and I wanted it noted in the minutes, please.
Thank you, very good.
And I have one other quick community minute, if I may.
Just under that topic, I know Ms. Mincer needs volunteers, so if anybody is interested in volunteering to work the Halloween parade, please contact her, contact Mr. Pepe, and you can get her information. All right.
Oh, thank you. And the other is just a note in today's morning call, the shelter house, there will be tours of log cabins, and it's actually starting this Saturday at our shelter house. I believe the tours start at 1 p.m., and it's great to see our community highlighted in the newspaper. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else have an item for community minute? Mr. Shubsted?
Just one item that that I want to mention. The Emmaus Arts Commission will be kicking off the 10th annual Student Film Festival on Thursday at 6 p.m. at Emmaus High School Admin Building.
Thank you. Anyone else? Mr. Barrett?
I have just 2 items. I mentioned it the last time, but just a reminder, the Halloween, National Pen Bank Halloween and Emmaus 5K race, all of that, is October 18th, just before the Halloween parade. As has been in years past, the attendance seems to grow for it, so hopefully it'll continue that way. So far, registration looks very good. And then also, I just had a nice comment to pass on. I don't know if anyone had a chance to attend the Very Merry Halloween event at the 1803 house. The morning was a little rough with the weather, so they said attendance was down, but Laura Fetzer, who's one of the organizers of the event, said just how helpful the Public Works Department was in making that come together and how attentive they were to any of the needs that came about of that. So she mentioned it to me, and I said I would pass that on at tonight's meeting. So just a thank you to the Public Works Department for any of the help that they contributed.
Thank you. Anyone have anything else?
I do.
Mr. Pepe?
Along with that, I'd like to thank Mr. Farmer, who's in attendance. In appreciation of the Public Works Department's efforts, Mr. Farmer donated a painting that he had made to the borough. It's a remnant of a painting. That is, Mr. Farmer, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's the first improvement that was made in 1979 to the house. Am I correct when I said that?
Restoration of the entrance.
Yep. So he donated that to us to put in our gallery. So thank you, Mr. Farmer.
Very nice, thank you. Anyone else?
One
Mr.
last.
Anders?
I just wanted to thank the Boy Scouts I see here this evening for coming out and sitting in on our meeting, being part of the process.
Do we know what troop?
225.
Very good.
Thank you.
All right, anything further? Hearing none. Moving to special presentations. We have nothing on our agenda this evening, Mr. Pepe?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Which brings us to the reading of the minutes from the September 15th council meeting. Is there a motion to dispense with the formal reading of those minutes? Motion by Mr. Ladenburg, Is there a second? Second by Mr. Anders. Discussion. All those in favor? We have 7 ayes. Additions or corrections? Hearing none, motion to adopt is drafted. Motion by Mr. Brown. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Anders. Discussion. All those in favor? We have 7 ayes. Decision on bids. In your binder this evening, we have some bids to award. Do you want to do those first, Mr. Pepe, or should we talk about North and Green Streets first?
We can talk about North and Green. Do you want to, Mr. Levenberg, is that?
We could put it all into one.
Okay, let's do that. So North and Green Street, we spoke at the last Public Works Committee meeting and discussed our options regarding paving versus Novichip and what the bids were and the qualifications, and without going into qualifications of the bidders, because that's a conversation we really don't even need to have at this point. The recommendation coming from the committee, and please, if you want to take over, feel free.
There's a motion to not do the Novichip and have it paved next year for a cost of around $58,000. That would be North Street and also the painting of North Street, correct, Shane?
That's correct.
And I'll place that in a form of motion. And this would be done around May, June, which is the ideal time to do paving.
Before we act on your motion, Mr. Levenberg, we had tabled this bid at last meeting, so we need a motion to remove it from the table
I make a
before we
motion
can
to
act.
remove it from the table.
Thank you. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Brown. Discussion? All those in favor? We have 7 ayes. Okay.
Okay, so moved on what I previously motioned, to pave North Street in May and June at a cost of about $58,000, and also the line painting and sealing.
Mr. Pepe, point of clarification. Do we have to reject all bids first? Make a
Yes.
motion to? We need the motion to
do
reject.
You can probably do it all in one motion. We're going to pave in-house. We're going to do the paving project ourselves.
I have it in the,
Okay.
that's what I was looking for. Okay, so the motion is to throw out all bids for the Novichip project and authorize Public Works Department to pave North Street June 2015, May or June, at a cost of approximately $58,000.
And you're making that in the form of a motion.
So moved.
Is there a second? Second by Mr. Brown. Discussion.
I just
Mr.
want to
Lindbergh.
put out there, we were originally going to do Novichip, which, if you recall, it's what we did in the whole Little Lehigh Acres, and we were very happy with that product, and that product has held up well. Our concern is because of the heavy traffic, and not only literally the heavy traffic, all the buses, and also there's all trucks that go in there. We didn't know how that would hold up, so we decided to go with the heavy 2-inch paving instead, looking at the long-term goal of it. So just wanted to throw that out there.
Thank you. Any further discussion, Mr. Anders?
And maybe Mr. Pepe can answer. Are we currently done with whatever work we are doing there, or will there be some top put on it? Because I know some of the manholes seem like they're a little raised as you're driving.
They are finishing sealing all the paving that they did, and they are going to basically get it ready for winter so that when they plow, they won't hit manholes. And so yes, they will prep it to make sure that it is good till next year when they pave.
Very good, thank you.
Any further discussion? All those in favor? We have 7 ayes.
Okay. You also received the bituminous seal coating and the street crack sealing bids. And this is the 3-year bid. This is for any kind of seal coating or crack sealing projects that we would have. We do this every 3 years. It's been something we've been doing for several decades. So the bids came in. For the bituminous seal coating, my recommendation would be to contract Asphalt Maintenance Solutions LLC. I'll just give you the overall cost, although so the bids, just so you know, they're based on 10,000 square yards of material. That doesn't mean we're going to use 10,000 square yards of material, but that's kind of an approximate over a 3-year period of what we might use. So for Asphalt Maintenance Solutions, my recommendation is to award them the seal coating bid for $67,500.
Is there a motion to that effect? Motion by Mr. Ladenburg. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Brown. Discussion? All those in favor? We have 7 ayes.
Second bid was for street crack sealing. Again, same concept. The bid was for approximately 2,500 gallons of the polymer crack sealant. My recommendation is to award Dosh King Emulsions Incorporated with that bid at $37,375.
Is there a motion to that effect? Motion by Mr. Ladenburg. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Brown. Discussion? Mr. Barrett?
Usually when we bid this out, is 2 a pretty standard number? I kind of remember 4 or 5 in past years.
So the last time you bid it out, we had, that I saw, we had 2.
Okay, I might be thinking of a different.
I think you're thinking of the concrete, the curb
Okay,
cuts.
yeah.
I think that's what you're thinking of.
Okay.
Any further discussion? Mr. Anders?
Mr. Pepe, they do bid, and I'm sorry I am naive to this, but they are using the same product base. I mean, the difference in price there, they're bidding on the same product, same.
It's essentially the same thing.
Yeah. Okay, very good.
Any further discussion? All those in favor? We have 7 ayes. Communications. First item in your binder tonight comes from David Cole of Little Lehigh Drive. He is interested in serving on the library board. I will forward this to the General Administration Committee. Mr. Barrett?
I think he's already been scheduled
I think
as well.
he has been.
Yes.
I think I saw that. The second letter comes from John Ashley. He is the current solicitor for the Civil Service Commission, and he would like to be reappointed to that position next year. I will forward this to Civil Service and to General Administration. Mr. Barrett. Next item comes from Christopher Heckler of Emmaus. He is interested in serving on the Joint Environmental Advisory Council. I will forward this to you, Mr. Shubsta, for Health, Sanitation, and Conservation.
Thank you.
The next item comes from Carrie Chappelle. She is resigning her position from the Mass Special Entertainment Commission. She recently opened a business shop, and she's very busy, and she doesn't feel she has the time to commit to the commission as a fair and equal member. I will forward this to Parks and Recreation. Is there a motion to accept her resignation? Motion by Mr. Brown, second by Mr. Shubsta. Discussion? All those in favor? We have 7 ayes. If we could send her a thank you letter for her time that she did serve, Mr. Pepe. The next letter comes from Chris Boehm from the Borough of Macungie. She is requesting assistance from the Fire Department, Special Fire Police, for help with their Halloween parade, which is scheduled for Saturday, October 25th. Mr. Pepe, if you could handle that with staff. Next item in your binder comes from Jessica O'Donnell from the Mass Main Street Partners. It's in reference to the Old Fashioned Christmas, which is scheduled for Saturday, December 6th, 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. I will refer this to Parks and Rec. Mr. Anders. Also on your desk this evening, there should be communications. One from Don Nickerson, who is requesting to serve on the Zoning Hearing Board for another term. I will forward this to General Administration, as well as Attorney Stover is requesting to be reappointed as the chairperson to the Mass Vacancy Board. I will forward this to you as well, Mr. Barrett, for General Administration. I believe we're going to start getting all kinds of reappointment requests, so as they come in, we will forward them to the appropriate committees. I have nothing further under communication. Mr. Pepe, do you have anything?
No.
Any member of council have an item for communication? Mr. Mayor, do you have anything for
No,
communication?
I'll save this for the mayor's report.
Very good, thank you. Borough Engineers Report, we have no report this evening. Solicitors Report, Attorney Dinkelhocker.
Nothing at this time, thank you.
Thank you. Which brings us to unfinished business, Part 1. This is ordinance 1113. This is coming out of the Public Safety Committee. It's dealing with standing or parking on roadway for loading and unloading, and a handicap parking request. Is there a motion to read ordinance 1113 in short title? Motion by Mr. Brown. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Anders. Discussion? All those in favor? We have 7 ayes. This is ordinance 1113, an ordinance amending Chapter 15, Sections 408, standing or parking on roadway for loading or unloading, and Section 602.2A, handicap parking of the codified ordinances. Is there a motion to adopt ordinance 1113 as read? Motion by Mr. Brown. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Barrett. Discussion? This is a roll call vote. Mr. Leibenberg?
Aye.
Mr. Holzapher?
Aye.
Mr. Barrett?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Mr. Shubsta?
Aye.
Mr. Anders?
Aye.
Mrs. Gilbert votes aye. We have 7 ayes. Ordinance 1113 passes. New business. We have no new business. Unfinished business, Part 2. We have nothing. Items not on the agenda subject to Rule 9. Any member of council have an item that they wish to bring forward? Hearing none. Mayor's report. Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you, Mr. President. I'm going to read the proclamation for Fire Prevention Week. Whereas the Borough of Emmaus is committed to ensuring the safety and security of all those living in and visiting our borough, and whereas fire is a serious public safety concern, both locally and nationally, and homes are the locations where people are at the greatest risk from fire, and whereas working smoke alarms cut the risk of dying in reported home fires in half, and whereas 3 out of 5 home fire deaths result from fires in properties without working smoke alarms, and whereas in 1/5 of all homes with smoke alarms, none were working, and whereas when smoke alarms should have been operated but did not do so, it was usually because batteries were missing and disconnected or dead, and whereas Emmaus Borough residents should install smoke alarms in every sleeping room, outside each separate sleeping area, and on every level of the home. And whereas Emmaus Borough first responders are dedicated to reducing the occurrence of home fires and home fire injuries through prevention and protection education. And whereas the 2014 Fire Prevention Week theme, Working Smoke Alarms Save Lives, test yours every month effectively, serves to remind us that we need working smoke alarms to give us the time to get out safely. Now therefore I, Winfield Yopes, Mayor of the Borough of Emmaus, do hereby proclaim October 5th to the 11th, 2014 as Fire Prevention Week throughout the borough. And I urge all the people in Emmaus to test their smoke alarms at least every month by pushing the test button to support the many public safety activities and efforts of Emmaus Fire and Emergency Services during Fire Prevention Week 2014. Done the 6th day of October 2014 at the Borough of Emmaus, Lehigh County, Pennsylvania. I have another proclamation to read. For Trick-or-Treat Night. Whereas the Emmaus Halloween Committee has deemed it appropriate to designate a special night in the Borough of Emmaus as Trick-or-Treat Night, and whereas this traditional Halloween festivity has been enjoyed by many children generation after generation here in the borough. Now therefore I, Winfield Yopes, Mayor of the Borough of Emmaus, Pennsylvania, do hereby proclaim Thursday, October 30th, 2014 as Trick-or-Treat Night. For the Borough of Emmaus and in the spirit of Halloween, I call on all residents who wish to participate in this cheerful festivity to turn on your porch lights between 6 p.m. and 8 p.m. to light the way in acknowledgement of your participation. Done the 6th day of October, 2014 in the Borough of Emmaus, Lehigh County, Pennsylvania. Progress.
Thank you.
Yep.
Committee reports. Public Works. Mr. Leibenberg.
Yes, the committee just met here in council chambers October 2nd, and we took care of the North Street issue and the crack seal and seal coat bids. There is nothing else to take action on. Just to review what's on the actual agenda, The rules and regulations, we are finished with the rule and regulation updates, but we are currently waiting on a time to meet with the union. It is a contract issue, so that's just going to depend on when we meet with them. Fairview Street is a budget issue that will be addressed next year, I believe, and we're also finding out if the borough will be responsible for all the costs or if it will be shared. South 10th Street culvert will be escrowed the money from this year, and we will budget money for next year, so that will be taken care of next year, and also with the hope that we will get some grant money there, as it is close to a $250,000 project. And the historical house agreements, we're moving forward on that, where we brought questions and scenarios together, and from those scenarios and questions, we are going to try to put together an agreement that can be moved with all three historical groups in the borough. And if nobody else has any questions, he did not make an appeal, so he did not make an appeal. So if there's no other questions, I report progress.
Brett,
Thank you. Mr. Anders,
yes.
go ahead.
I do see the mention there on Borough Line Park handicap parking.
Yep.
And
We did not discuss it. I mean, it was brought up, but we
It was
were
brought
told that there was going to be appeal tonight, and there was no appeal, so that's why I'm not bringing anything up.
Okay. I will say, just from my own being over there, it's a good idea in that area that.
Yeah, I
would
believe
help
that
the
would be a
residents.
safety committee
It'd have to
issue,
be
not
under
Public
public
Works, because
safety.
we don't issue those in the Public Works.
Right. Very good.
Progress.
Thank you. Health, Sanitation, and Conservation, Mr. Schubster.
Thank you. Nothing for official action. Our next meeting is scheduled for October 16th at 4:30 p.m. The only question I have for you, Shane, is in the notes, are we still looking at the software for for the laptop for the
Health Inspector?
health inspector? Yep. He still hasn't.
It still hasn't. I mean, he's basically told me now that he just wants a laptop that he can use signature pads. So I'm looking at something within the budget that I'm thinking they have the laptops that fold over and you can touch screen them.
Yeah.
But we need something durable. We can't just buy a $300 laptop at Staples.
Okay.
Um,
I saw that in an email.
Yeah.
There was some questions about it. Okay.
But I haven't found. I mean, it's not within. He's asking for something way beyond the budgeted number.
Okay.
So I'm kind of struggling getting something in our price point.
Okay. All right. That was the only question I had. The only thing then, I'll just report progress then. Thank you.
Thank you. Parks and Recreation, Mr. Anders.
Nothing official this evening. We meet tomorrow here in Borough Chambers at 4 p.m. Progress.
Thank you.
I have a
Mr.
question.
Lavenberg.
I read in, is it called the Connections magazine? Is that what it's called now, Lehigh Valley Connections? The newspaper that we get in
Yeah.
our...
That thing?
Yes. I read in there that the bike race is going to have the Main Street have a beer truck down there. And I'm just wondering, I don't remember ever approving something on Borough Council with regard to that. And we have always done that in the past through Parks and Recreation Committee. And I'm just wondering why that wasn't brought forward.
So, first of all, we have nothing to do with the Main Street Partners getting it. We did agree in the agreement with them that they were giving beer to their participants and selling it. They contracted out the Main Street Partners.
So through the event organization?
Correct.
It was through there, okay.
Correct.
So that's the difference from past practice?
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
we in our agreement with them, I mean, we knew that they were going to give 2 beers per participant, and then they were selling the rest. We didn't.
Okay. I just wanted to verify that because I know in the past we approved.
Right,
it,
normally we would,
it's
but that
through-
was- yeah.
Through the organization?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Public Safety. Nothing for official action this evening. We already handled Ordinance 1113. If anybody has any questions on the notes from the meeting, I will answer them. If not, I report progress.
Oh, I do.
Mr. Lavenberg.
The Landis Circle one-way, is that something everybody's in favor of or not? I was a little confused on that. Is that something that's going to move? I guess a
It's
better way
moving
of
forward.
is
Let's
it going
put
to
it
move
that
forward?
way.
Yeah.
It's moving forward.
Okay.
The officer
Thank you.
will be going back out there and
So we'll
talking
be
to all the
going
neighbors.
up the mountain or down the mountain?
That I don't know yet.
Okay. Thank you.
That was my guilty. miscommunication.
I just want to make sure I know, I understand.
No, the traffic officer is going back out there, so, yeah, he will be reviewing that, and he will be making a recommendation to public safety.
The sign fell up, is it? Yeah.
If there's nothing further, I will report progress from public safety. General administration, Mr. Barrett.
Yes, a few items that require official action. In your packet, you will find Resolution 2014-38, which establishes a policy for employees, volunteers, part-time employees, full-time, doesn't matter, a policy for issuing pool passes. There's been some confusion over the years, some inconsistencies, and this resolution should clarify that. In general, you probably read it, but the gist is that full-time, part-time, seasonal, appointed, and elected employees should be eligible to receive a 50% discount swimming pool pass each year. The eligible discount shall be for both single rate and family passes, with an exception to volunteer crossing guards shall be eligible to receive a free single rate swimming pool pass each year. And then their family can receive a 50% discounted rate. Did I get it all right? I think so. So I'll place that in the form of a motion to recommend resolution number 2014-38.
Is there a second? Second by Mr. Labenberg. Discussion?
Actually, I just want to add.
Mr. or Mr. Barrett, rather?
One additional piece of that is that a lot of this had been, almost all of this had been going on before, but never in an official capacity. Over time, something
never
over the years
finalized.
kind of morphed into that this was what's happening. So we're finally making it official, which I think is very important.
Do we
Mr.
have any
Anders?
commissions that are excluded because of state regulations? Are there anything special, Shane, that you're aware of, or is everybody, if they serve on a commission?
Yeah, I think they're okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Mr. Altover?
Now, we never did provide them for volunteers in the past, though, correct?
You did for your crossing guards.
Crossing
Crossing guards,
Yeah.
but none of our,
Correct.
which this now would include like Parks and Rec and special entertainment.
Well, yeah, and the discussion really turned into why do the crossing guards get it? I mean, we understand that they're out in the rain and the snow, but why is that something that we've been doing for 20 years,
But not rewarding anyone else who volunteers.
but not some of the others?
I understand.
Yeah.
Any further discussion? Mr. Labenberg?
We did have the discussion too by bringing more families in that we will generate more revenue at the snack stand. So there is a benefit to doing this.
Any further discussion? All those in favor? We have 7 ayes.
Next item is Resolution 2014-40, which is a resolution establishing the Special Entertainment Commission bylaws, which is something that I think will be very beneficial to that commission. There's a lot to read there. Hopefully everyone did review it. So I'll place that in the form of a motion to approve Resolution 2014-40.
Is there a second? Second by Mr. Labenberg. Discussion? Mr. Holtzapher?
There's a few terms in there that I don't understand. Article 8, removal from office and membership. For misfeasance, nonfeasance, malfeasance. I don't know any of those words.
Misfeasance, malfeasance, and nonfeasance.
Yeah, I don't know what any of those words mean.
Basically means something that's improper, and they are all, as far as I'm concerned, pretty much the same. So an act of malfeasance, misfeasance, nonfeasance would be failing to do something that is otherwise proper conduct.
Okay.
Not necessarily, it doesn't have to be a crime, could be a crime, could be something less than that, but it's improper conduct essentially.
Thank you. And then my next concern comes with the commission itself. Is this a commission we're committed to keeping? I'm not sure what numbers are at this time, but income to expense this year is greater than a $6,000 loss on this commission. So
Just to be clear, we're taking that money out of surpluses that they've earned.
we have surplus from the past to bring it from, but we can't continue to operate at a $6,000 loss on a commission. I mean, we don't have anything that operates at a $6,000 loss. So I'm not sure that adopting bylaws for 4 out of 9 members is the smartest thing to do at this moment.
Is there anything in here, and I don't recall seeing it, that says how there needs to be a minimum amount of people?
It's in your ordinance.
No, that's in the ordinance.
I understand. So if they drop below that, what happens?
Mr. Barrett?
It's always based, a quorum, as long as you have a quorum, and at 4 people would be, you'd be able to
Do
have,
they
I mean,
currently have 4 people? I thought they were down to 3 now with.
3 is still.
Two out of the 3 have to arrive.
They have
It's
4.
based on current
They
membership.
still have
Yeah.
4, but you'd have to have 3 of those 4 for anything to happen now at bi-weekly meetings.
Which they do.
They always have 3 out of 4 now.
They're there, yeah.
I did have a discussion with them about finances. I'm not sure when that was, Shane. End of August, probably, right before I went back to school. And I don't know if anything has changed in the last 6 weeks. I haven't heard anything from that commission. But I do have large concerns about continuing to fund a commission that lost $6,000 for a project that I believe we could do in-house.
Can you describe how you mean in-house?
I believe we have people working here that could schedule bands and pay bands. Our only problem would be how would we manage Sunday nights at the park?
Mr. Leibenberg?
Well, I can tell you that my wife, who's the chairman of that committee, came on in this process when the bands were already booked, so she had nothing to do with that. The members that were put on that committee that, well, pretty much in their interview said they were very good at fundraising, only brought $100 in. So that is not on her. That is on them who did not follow through on what they said they were going to do.